What's up, my beautiful people? Welcome back to Clarity for Creators. I'm your host, Rob Anzit, and today I'm going to talk about how I went from $300 clients to $2,500 clients in just 1 year. Let's do it. So when we think about how we deliver or present your offering, your product, your service, whatever that case may be, I'm going to break this down into photography mainly, but I might dabble into going into my wife's business, which is Preston Time, where she preserves flowers for wedding couples. But let's start off with that. How do you deliver or present your offer? And I think this has a huge impact on a lot of businesses that are not scaling or that are not finding the right client to pay their higher ticket. And I think it really comes down to three buckets. I'm going to call these buckets. But number one, I think it comes down to your branding. Number two, I think it comes down to your emails. And number three, I think it comes down to your apps. Actually, I know it comes down to your apps. And I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about how the $300 clients just, wasted a lot of my time comparing it to my $2,500 clients. So let's break this down. Let's go to bucket one here into branding. And I think branding can be really broken down further into three categories as well. I think your website is all about your branding, what it looks like, what someone's going to experience before they even get to meet you or know how much your product is. I think social media has a big effect on your branding, your copy, how you present yourself if you're adapting to changes. And number three, I think it comes down to your emails, because emails really you're either selling or you're closing a deal. So in branding, I say website. I think of a lot of successful brands or photographers that I look up to that charge a lot, have really good images, videos that convert, or have beautiful copy that resonates with their brand and has hook statements to capture your attention and keep you on their website. I also think a really good website with proper copy can convert a client from $300 to $2,500 by asking the right questions in an intake form. And we'll go through that a little bit. But I think social has a huge impact on your brand and what you stand for, who you are, and kind of like the delivery of your presentation before they even pay you. But I think what I know from my experience from $300 clients to $2,500 clients is it came down to my email and how fast I could convert them, or how they enjoyed the process of, and this is funny, but I think it comes down from the process of paying me and how quick it was, and the service I delivered through just a simple email using the right apps. And in your email, you have a lot of components. I think photos are a really good asset to include in an email, whether that be in your signature. Videos, if you want to use it to communicate a pitch. But even your product offers, like how it's delivered. Is your service or your product being seen through a PDF when you're walking through your client to know what you offer? Or is it just kind of like a bunch of words and paragraphs, which I think that was the biggest asset to why I converted all of my products and services into beautiful PDFs that can walk through a client through everything from step 1 to step 3 on how we operate as a business, what I offer, what they're getting by solving problems, and how they can pay me right away. And I think that all really goes into an email properly. And it comes from the delivery of your brand and your branding in a PDF. Plain and simple. Because in the past, I would work with clients, I would send them, if I looked back in let's just say 2018 or something, it was like 20 emails before I converted a client or before I closed the deal. now, if I look at it, maybe we can digest that really quickly, but it would just be back and forth questions that I didn't add into my first email or into my website intake. It would just be long paragraphs from the read and be like, oh, I didn't read that. I didn't give them clear instructions on like steps 1 to 3 on how to book. Until now, where I'm like, here's the process. If you DM me, you get sent to my email. My email has an intake form. My intake form tells you my starting price of, let's just say, $800 for personal branding. And it asks you that question, are you in a position to invest that kind of money into your personal brand? Which if they say no, they're not going to fill out the intake form. If they're going to say yes, they're pretty much going to walk through my funneling system. But I think that process can be super streamlined and super simple. And a lot of, let's just say, photographers just miss out on that first part. And then it goes into a little deeper of like an email. Once I get that intake form, I send a beautiful email, a beautiful PDF. I walk them through 3 questions that ask them about their business, what they're looking for, the experience they're looking for. But I also have a call to action to say, let's jump on a 15-minute call, make sure we're the right fit, and then I'll walk you through the process of booking your photo shoot. Done. That's like email 1. Email 2 is like, this was fantastic conversation. Here's a link to pay for your deposit for the photo shoot. You can use a Visa card, and I'll walk you through that process too. But like, that's the kind of steps I want to see and experience on even my end when I'm purchasing a product or a service from a company. Like, walk me through the steps, make it simple, make it easy. The easier it is, the more likely I'm willing to pay you quicker. That's just plain and simple. But let's go into bucket number 2. And I think bucket number 2 is always missed with a lot of industries, and how important an email is when you're delivering your service. And it should be done in almost like a 3-step process. Here's checkpoint 1, checkpoint 2, pay me, we're good. Pretty much. Like, there should be a lot of touch points to closing a deal. And mine would be like inquiry through DMs, website, email 1, email 2, closing. So 5 steps, photo shoot, delivery, which is 7. But in an email, it should be straightforward and very, very simple. Like, walk me through the process of how I can pay you to get your service. And you're either selling or closing. So keep that in mind. Your email, I think, is drastically important to close. And you need to consider yourself in that level of, how do I land a higher ticket client by giving them something that is so streamlined? And I'll walk you through the third bucket. But what's cool about email, before we go to the third bucket, is that you can always add on and upsell a client in every email. And it doesn't have to be salesy. Everyone's like, well, how do you do that? How do you do this? Well, my website does one by asking how much they have to spend, or whether or not they're looking to spend X amount of dollars on their business and invest. Number 2 is like walking them through my PDF, which walks them through the services from $800 to $2,500. And my client agreement form walks them through another service that's basically like, have you read my packages? Are you interested? Yes. Okay. And have you checked out my add-ons, where I'm going to add on more products that you probably will need for your business to sell your business online. And I'm okay with that because I know I'm solving a problem, providing a really good service, but I'm going to charge you for that extra stuff. And I think a lot of businesses forget that they're in that mindset set to make money. Your business should be making money. It shouldn't be giving things all for free because we wouldn't be able to live and afford anything. But the last bucket, and I think I left it for last because it's super beneficial for my business. And this is how I went from $300 to $2,500 clients, is I streamlined my process for my client's experience. So I'm going to say that one more time. It's the apps I use. I streamlined my process for my client's experience. So when I streamline my process, I'm talking about apps that I use like Google Calendar, Jotform, Loom, Notes, Stripe. These are all apps are all available. Some are free, some are not. Are they worth it? It depends how much money you make. Are they worth it to save your clients headaches when you charge more money? Of course. And is it easier for you to run your business when you have these apps? 100% once you learn how to use it. So we'll start off with my favorite. My most used is Google Calendar. It provides my client with a Google Doc that they can access with all their information, walks them through the step-by-step process. The link is connected to the Google Calendar, which they can access, which reminds them of the service that I'm providing. And it also reminds them that my service is super important and you need to show up on time, which guides them through like 15 minutes, like be on time, be prepared, walk you through it. Here's this, here's that. I've never had a question of, Rob, where is the form, or can you remind me of the date and whatever it is? It's literally in your email that's connected to a link of the date, and it's going to remind you an hour before the actual time to show up on time, be there, and what it's for. Straight simple. Like straight, it's super simple, and I that's a huge missing link from my $300 clients and my $2,500 clients. And I had to go through that to understand, oh, this can actually make my life easy, but it also makes my client's life even easier without even having to think about what they book. The next program is called Jotform. It's a free app that I've used for so many years. It collects data. It's a beautiful CRM. I can upsell my clients when they walk through my client agreement, which asks them, have you seen my packages? Yes. What are you booking? Okay, great. And have you seen my add-ons? And my add-ons can accumulate up to, let's just say, $2,000 worth of an income for me on one client, because it walks them through, oh, I didn't know about that service, or I forgot about that service, or I didn't see that service. Thank you for reminding me. I'm going to book it and I'm going to pay you what you're asking because you reminded me. You made the process super simple, and it's going to benefit my business. It's a total win-win situation. So Jotform is fantastic. Another program that has streamlined my service when outsourcing or outsourcing any work that I have is called Loom. It's basically a video recording app that records you speaking while recording your laptop working. Let me explain that one more time, because it was a thought process for me too. And I was like, this product exists. So it basically films you and then films what you're doing on your laptop. So if I was like to any of my employees or whatever, I'd be like, cool, like I need you to set up this account with this client, but they don't know how to do it. I'm going to walk you through the step-by-step process of how to do this process, and you can rewatch it over and over again. But basically log into this app, do this, do that, click that button, and it basically walks them through it and they can watch it, which is fantastic. It's such a beautiful service. The last one I use Loom for my mastermind program, which has been a game saver, going through slides and notes and having my face in the right corner. Super professional. It's incredible. Last but not least is Notes for iPhone users. It's great for writing or sharing notes and combining a team note. So if I had a team, I would use it to connect with them and follow up. And like, here's your simple notes for the day or for the week or for the month. My wife and I use it for even groceries. So for like next week, if Tuesday I finished all the Nutella, which I can do in like a day because I'm obsessed with Nutella. But I would put that in notes to be like, on grocery list, Nutella's unclicked. So a reminder to remember when I'm at the grocery stores to pick up Nutella. It was fantastic. But notes could be great for another idea that I thought about for using notes would be for boundaries with clients. If you don't want them to text you, but you want like quicker responses, or you want them to like maybe be included in the process of like doing their service or selling their product or whatever, you can do a shared note and they can add all their ideas, or you can add your ideas to the product as well. So I think that's fantastic. Last but not least, I think I'm going to lead with this, is the client experience is the most important. It's never about you. When I was landing $300 clients, it was all about me. And I would be like, oh, I need this, I need that. Like, it would take forever. And I think the client experience changed drastically when I started seeing apps that were benefiting them and me getting paid. And the app that comes to mind for sure was Stripe. I was always scared of like a Visa being used because it took a percentage or whatever the case may be. I was always about e-transfers until I got so fed up with clients being like, here's the password. I type in the password, it didn't work, it locked me out, I never got paid. Or the process in general of asking my clients, like, is it okay to e-transfer? Oh, I'd rather pay you with Visa because then I have to take your name, take your email, write a password, send you the money. If it's over like 10 grand or whatever it is, the project is, scope of work or budget, like it's better to use your Visa because you get points as well too, right? So that was the hardest thing for me. I only did that maybe last year where I was just like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm going to pay the fees. It's going to make my client's experience so much faster and easier to get paid. And then I get paid in 3 days and I'm like, it's secure. It's locked in. I don't have to think about it. They don't have to think about it. And like, there's no back and forth questions being like, what's the password? What email do you want me to use? Oh, don't use that email. Use my corporation email. Like, it's just annoying. Here's a link to a Stripe account. Pay me. Your invoice is there. You can use your Visa. You can get points. You can thank me later. Or you can take me on a trip with all your points. But that was like the experience level. And for anyone listening that is like, I'm struggling to find those bigger clients. I'm struggling to close those bigger clients. Don't think about what you're offering. Think about the service you want to provide and your client's experience throughout. Because it might not be your service. It might not be what you're skilled at. It's probably the processes that are running through with your client on like how you're operating your business. And it comes down to your branding, your email, and the apps you're using. Like it's those three systems that have helped me from going from $300 clients to $2,500 clients because I just made their life super easy. I try to upsell because I'm a business and I want to make more money and provide a better service. I want to be a better service than all of my competitors in my category. And if I can streamline the branding, the email, and the apps for my client's experience, they're going to recommend me to other people being like, this took 3 days. This took a day to book with Rob compared to it was a headache and a disaster going back and forth with that client. I don't want to recommend them because it was just a shit experience and I don't want that. So I'm leaving on that. That was a super rad podcast. It broke down all the things for a proper delivery and presentation. But if you have any more questions, please DM me. I'd love to make more podcasts around your questions that you have and kind of like the themes or subjects that you have in mind. If you like this podcast, leave me a solid review. It really helps push this podcast up. And for everyone listening, you got this, homies. I'll see you in the next podcast. Peace out.